John Early here, encouraging you to accept your role as an economic hero and take care of people. If we're going to pull out of the recession and restore robust, shared prosperity, we're going to have to let go of policies that have failed. Part of the problem is that the economic policy that creates the most prosperity for almost everybody in the long run harms our wealthy in the short run. When our elite chafe and fight against bearing this burden, growth suffers, as it has the last 34 years. The 1986 tax reform dropped the growth rate per person 40%. Between the New Deal and tax reform, the standard of living for most people doubled about every 27 years. Since reform, most of the growth went to the very top. People in the middle have had a growth rate where their great-grandchildren would be twice as well off rather than their children. Those at the bottom have had little or no increase. Tax reform cut the top marginal tax rate below 40% for the first time since the Great Depression. With lower tax rates, the top 1% of taxpayers pulled trillions more dollars of business revenue out of businesses as personal income. This shot their income sky high, and they paid more tax, but it left trillions less for workers, equipment, research, and other expenditures that grow the economy. Growth per person averaged 1.7% the last 230 years. Of the 4 periods in the chart, the only one with above average growth was between the New Deal and tax reform. The top marginal tax rate averaged almost 78%. Unlike workers who can avoid a high marginal tax rate by working less, business owners avoid high marginal tax rates by growing their businesses more. Consider Jeff Bezos and Amazon. For years, Amazon plowed all revenue into growing the business. There was no net income to be taxed by the corporate income tax. Bezos' wealth increased by billions without it being taxable income. The growing value of a business is not taxed. The top marginal tax rate on our elite is a tax on their choice to take high personal income rather than choosing to grow the economy by starting businesses or growing the ones they have. Economic growth benefits from low tax rates on income up through about 3 times the average worker's salary and modest rates through a few $100,000. But a low top tax rate harms growth. The elite's fight for a low top rate hijacked the well-meaning Republican Party and harmed the long-term well-being of almost everyone. The weakest period of growth came with the Democrats' smallest share of Congress. The fastest growth came with Democrats averaging almost 60% of Congress. In a time of crisis, heroes find the courage to do what works and let go of cherished beliefs about how it's supposed to work. Let's recap. The only multi-decade period of above-average growth per person where we know every income class shared in the growth came with the top rate averaging over 70% and Democrats holding about 60% of Congress. As an economic hero, you need to confirm this information before you act on it. To fulfill your role, you may need to understand better how marginal tax rates work. We'll cover that in the next episode of Economic Hero. Sign up for this YouTube channel to be sure you don't miss it.